Um, and we're going to kind of introduce a new word. If this was in class, we'd be doing a bunch of stuff with this would be one of our vocab words. But it's this word, I just want you to be exposed to it. It's called the discriminant, okay? It almost sounds like discriminate, discriminant, okay? And what it does is it's going to tell us a number of solutions. So I just kind of want to give us a little bit of a thought experiment here. What would happen if I told you x squared equals 25? What would your answers be?
5.
All right, x
Also
equals 5.
-5.
Yeah, okay, because we have two answers. Notice to do that, you'd take the square root of both sides, okay? What if we said x squared equals 0?
0.
It's 0, right? Okay. What if we said, all right, now x, because you take the square root of both sides and you get 0. What if we said x squared equals -4?
Oh, there is no solution.
Okay, because when you would take the square root, okay, you would have the square root of a negative, and we would say there are no real solutions. You can't give me a number. If you said x squared equals -4, I dare you to come up with a number times itself that gets you -4.
Wouldn't that be an imaginary number?
Yes. And so when you come back next year in Algebra 2 with Mr. Fiddler or myself, we'll talk about imaginary numbers. Okay. But yeah, so we would have what's called no real solution. Okay. This idea of when you have a positive under the radical, you get two solutions. Okay. This is going to be our big idea today. You have a positive under a radical, you get two solutions. When you have 0 under the radical, you get one solution. Okay, one solution there. And when you have a negative under the radical, you get 0 solutions. Okay. That's kind of, I'll separate this out a little bit. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take this idea. I think you guys knew this probably a week and a half ago. We're going to take this and apply it to our quadratic formula now. Okay. And we're going to say, even before we get done, once we plug everything in, all our numbers in, before we solve or simplify anything, we want to know how many solutions are we going to have. Okay. That's our main idea today. So let's do that with a short example. Okay. In this one, we're going to say, we'll say negative x squared minus 2x. No, let's scratch that actually. I want to do, we're going to say minus 5x. Yeah, let's just go bigger. Let's say minus 10x plus 16. Okay. No, actually, yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. So we can start to plug things into our quadratic formula. We said the opposite of b, so this would be positive 10 plus or minus the square root of 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 16. Actually, I take that back. It should be a -1 because we have a -1 out in front. Okay. All over 2 times -1. All we're interested in now is, let's just look at this radical part. All right. 10 squared, we already said was 100. And then we have -4 times -1 is 14, or sorry, is 4. Wow. And then times 6 would be, or 16 would be 64. 4 times 16 is 64, okay? So you can tell right now, just from that part, we're going to have two solutions, okay? Because we have a positive under the radical.
You forgot the 4.
I forgot the 4 where?
Oh, wait, you wrote it down. Never mind. I think my computer was just slow.
Oh, it might just be lagging a tiny bit. Yeah. I think mine lags on my screen a little bit. So if it's doing that, let me know. Okay. Let's I'm trying to think of a good example when we could do. Let's try this. All right. You guys kind of talk me through this one. We're gonna say x squared, so different example here. I'll even change colors. X squared minus 4x plus 4, and we'll say that equals 0. We'll just make it nice and say it equals 0 for us. Okay? And our question is going to be, I don't even care right now. I don't care what the final answer is when we get it all. I just want to know, how many solutions are we going to have? Okay? So let's get started with our quadratic formula. What would we do?
The opposite of -4.
So opposite of -4 is +4.
Plus or minus 4 squared.
Yep. 4 squared
Minus 4
times 1.
times 1 times 4.
Okay. All over 2 times 1. Right, let me add a new page here. Okay. Oops. Well, again, all we really care about, if they're asking us, hey, how many solutions are there? All we really care about is what's underneath the radical. So in this case, all right, 4 squared is 16 minus, well, 4 times 1 times 4. Well, that's 4 times 4, or 16. So what did we get underneath the radical?
16 minus 16.
You're right. So we ended up with 0. So we really have 4 plus or minus 0 over 2. Well, 4 plus 0 is 4, and 4 minus 0 is 4, so we're really just left with 4 over 2, or 2. So your final answer would be x equals 2. And notice, when we got 0 underneath this radical, we ended up with one solution. Okay? Anytime you get 0 under the radical, you have one solution. If you end up with a positive under the radical, you get two solutions. And we could go through, if you guys really want to, we could go through an example. And if we got negative under the radical, we'd have no real solutions. Okay? Questions on that? Anything? Does that make sense what we're talking about? Or what's either tell me, hey, this makes sense, or what's confusing?
I feel good about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right.